Scientists are making exciting discoveries at an astonishing rate, and it can be nearly impossible to keep up with all the news. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be looking at 3 of the most fascinating scientific discoveries that you might have missed. NASA just announced Jupiter's moon Io is sending the Juno probe strange radio waves. Jupiter holds the largest and most powerful magnetic field out of all the planets in our solar system. The field is about 20,000 times stronger than Earth's, partially due to the solar wind that batters Jupiter with electrically charged particles that blow from the Sun. Jupiter's magnetic field extends so far that several of its moons orbit within it. The planet's closest moon is named Io, and it is constantly caught in what NASA describes as a gravitational tug back and forth between Jupiter and 2 neighbouring large moons. This tug game generates internal heat, which causes hundreds of volcanic eruptions on the surface of Io, which is home to over 400 active volcanoes. For this reason, NASA has deemed Io as the most volcanically active world in the solar system.
The Voyager 1 spacecraft also revealed to us that Io is the first place outside of Earth to have erupting volcanoes. Not only did Io make history as the first to be seen to have erupting volcanoes, but the 400 volcanic craters can produce eruptions that reach heights of a staggering 300 miles. Despite this impressive volcanic activity, there's still a lot about the volcanoes in Io that are shrouded in mystery.
The moon's volcanoes release particles into space at a rate of 1 ton per second. When some of the particles split, a shower of ions and electrons enter Jupiter's magnetic field. Electrons are then pulled to Jupiter's pole, a process which emits decameter radio waves. Now, NASA is sending its Juno spacecraft to listen to Io's radio waves and hopefully help us understand the strange phenomenon. To detect the radio emissions, the spacecraft has to be in a precise location. Using data from Juno, the research team was able to determine exactly where the radio waves are generated, based on conditions relating to the strength of the magnetic field and the electron density. They discovered that the waves come from what seemed to be a rotating hollow cone. Juno receives the cone's signal only when it rotates in line with the spacecraft. NASA compares this to a lighthouse beacon shining on a ship. Researchers were surprised when data from Juno indicated that the radio waves emit 23 times more energy than expected. However, this is influenced by Jupiter's magnetic field and solar wind. These findings are helping scientists understand the behavior of Jupiter's large magnetic field, and we will likely hear of more discoveries from the planet in the near future. The Sun to have Saturn-like rings. There is a type of planet called a super-Earth, and if you were living there, you have the rings of the Sun to blame. Recent simulations suggest that Saturn-like dust rings around the Sun prevented our planet from ever reaching super status. A super-Earth is a planet that shares Earth's rocky surface, atmosphere, and water-favouring conditions, but is twice the size of our planet. Astronomers have previously found super-Earths within 30% of the Milky Way's solar systems. In order to investigate the lack of a super-Earth in our own solar system, astrophysicist Andre Isidoro and a team of other scientists created supercomputer simulation models of our solar system's formation. The team ran hundreds of simulations before finding one that aligned with our solar system in the present day. The version that most accurately predicted important features like asteroid belts, planetary masses, asteroids, and more also involved rings around the Sun in its early stages. It suggested that it was these solar rings that limited the mass of Earth. In the model, 3 high-pressure regions, called pressure bumps, of dust and gas form around the young Sun. This is likely due to the Sun's strong gravitational pull acting on particles that then heat up and release gas. The distinct bumps seem to form on sublimation lines, which are areas where certain particles are vaporized. These pressure bumps accumulated particles which prevented them from being pulled all the way into the Sun. Eventually, the gas and dust cooled, and the sublimation lines moved closer to the Sun. Through this process, dust assembled into planetesimals, which are the seeds for planets. According to Isidoro, our model shows pressure bumps can concentrate dust, and moving pressure bumps can act as planetesimal factories. The researchers theorized that because of the pressure bumps, the Sun did not have a smooth protoplanetary disk, which allowed bits of dust to accumulate rather than be swallowed by the Sun. The bumps also affected the amount of material available to form planets. Isidoro stated, "We propose that pressure bumps produced disconnected reservoirs of disk material in the inner and outer solar system and regulated how much material was available to grow planets in the inner solar system." Isidoro's simulation showed that the ring closest to the Sun may have formed planets in the solar system. The middle ring formed the planets of the outer solar system, while the ring furthest from the Sun formed comets and asteroids beyond Neptune in the Kuiper Belt. When the research team delayed the formation of the middle ring in the simulation, it showed super-Earths developing in our solar system. They suspect that the timing of the middle pressure bump was a crucial element of the evolution of our solar system. This research is not the first to assume concentrated dust could form planetesimals. The team's simulation is the only model that provides a logical explanation for how the dust might accumulate. Although the study is based more so on a model than concrete evidence, the findings are still extremely valuable because they suggest a new and highly plausible explanation for how our planet came to be. A mysterious glow warms rings of Uranus. Believe it or not, a temperature reading -320 degrees Fahrenheit suggests a heat wave surrounds Uranus. This temperature, which is the boiling point of liquid nitrogen, was detected within the rings of Uranus by heat images recently produced by two massive telescopes in the deserts of Chile. As -320 degrees certainly is not warm from an earthly perspective, it is significantly hotter than much of space. The discovery of a heat wave around the Uranian rings surprised scientists, since Uranus orbits far out in the solar system and does not receive nearly as much heat from the Sun as we do on Earth.
Joe Parr found out that if he put a model pyramid and spun it in a centrifuge through an alternating magnetic current, an energy field, or he calls it an orb or bubble, would form around the model pyramid. Joe found that this bubble or energy orb would block all known types of electromagnetic radiation, even gamma rays. Now this was interesting. We don't know of any types of energy forces that could do this.
Parr claimed to have discovered yet another strange physical phenomenon. The model pyramid became weightless in the energy field and began to move in a specific direction.
They calculated the direction of this energy field, where the pyramid would shoot out from. And guess what? It aligns exactly where we would see the constellation Orion. So Joe speculated that it went into hyperspace. This is speculation, but it makes a lot of sense. In string theory and physics, it postulates the existence of 6 additional spatial dimensions. So how do we know the way this energy fields were set up? It allows this pyramid to go into another dimension and travel. Joe never proved this, but before he died, he believed that the pyramid acted as a time machine, if you could unlock its key.
M42 is a nebula that can be found in the Milky Way galaxy. It's better known as the Orion Nebula, and it's been detailed by many ancient cultures throughout our history. The Orion Nebula can be seen without the use of a telescope, making it one of the most viewed and photographed nebulas. A few years back, astronomers spotted an interesting object while looking through photographs of the Orion Nebula they'd captured. The astronomer was using a powerful telescope and decided to photograph Orion, but when they reviewed the images they could see that a large cigar-shaped object could be seen. They said the following: "This is not the first time and definitely not the last time as I searched the night skies for galaxies and nebulas. The truth is out there." End quote. They also submitted the photograph to MoveOn, a large online database that collects images and data of strange crafts that have been witnessed all around the world. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that amateur astronomers have captured these strange looking objects on camera, going on to say that these objects are very long, and that they don't match anything within the area. When asked whether these cigar-shaped objects were something like a comet or a camera anomaly, the astronomer responded by saying that this isn't how comets, space debris or camera anomalies show up during astrophotography. As for what these objects are though, it's anyone's guess. Due to Oumuamua matching the description of this object, some have suggested that a number of these objects exist throughout the Milky Way galaxy, further noting that they could be things like probes that have travelled from a distant galaxy. The fact that this one was detected south of Orion's belt in the constellation of Orion has led some to suggest that they could be scattered all throughout our galactic neighbourhood. What these objects are though is still heavily debated. The truth is, as of right now, we don't know what Oumuamua was. It had many characteristics that didn't match things like a comet or an asteroid. There's even a group of highly qualified astronomers that have suggested that Oumuamua may have been a probe sent from another planet, similar to probes that we've sent out. If this is the case, we could have been observed by an advanced piece of technology, an idea that has excited many researchers. With hundreds of billions of planets residing within the Milky Way galaxy alone, it's important that we keep an open mind when it comes to objects like this, especially when they don't match typical space objects. Whether the object that was photographed in the Orion Nebula is the same thing as Oumuamua is up for debate, but one thing that's for certain is that the two objects share the same overall look. It's not just strange objects that have been detected out in the cosmos. Recently, a NASA probe that was travelling beyond the solar system detected a mysterious hum. The probe that was travelling over 14 billion miles away from Earth picked up on the strange vibrations after entering deep space. The equipment that detected the noise was that of the Voyager 1 spacecraft. Scientists published the discovery in the journal Nature Astronomy and said that it's helping us to understand deep space and what could potentially reside there. Oka and her colleagues have said that as of right now they don't know what's causing this mysterious noise, but have said it opens up a new field of study. This mysterious hum was detected back in 2017, but what's strange is that it passed interstellar space 5 years prior, so it's strange why this probe has only just detected this sound. The team of scientists working on the project have said that it could be some type of lag, but again this isn't entirely understood. Merav said the discovery was phenomenal, because it's the first step in helping us to understand what lies beyond these systems.